everybody? This is Rage BJJ coming at you with another episode of Kengan Ashura Fight Breakdowns, the series where we look at your favorite fights from Kengan Ashura, and using my 15 years of martial arts experience, I break them down and let you know what's going on, what I would do, and what I wouldn't do. So, with that said, let's get into this week's episode. So this week, we're going to be covering the King of Combat, Naoya Okubo, fighting the 5th Fang Matsudo, Kanoh Agito. So Okubo is a wrestling predominant fighter who's well versed in every realm of striking, grappling, and submissions. And then Kanoh is kind of like the quintessential fighter. He's fantastic everywhere, he can do everything, and he's pretty much been unbeaten so far in the Kengan Annihilation Tournament and in the series as a whole. So let's get it. Alright, so the fight's beginning, and immediately you see Okubo throw an overhand right as a fake to transition to a double leg takedown. Now immediately Kanoh sprawls to defend the double leg. Kanoh fires a knee of his own, followed up with a left low kick to deter any shots in the future, and then continues on with a flurry of strikes, finishing with a left high kick to the arm, and then a Thai plum, which is a clinch position, to continue to throw knees. And here you see Okubo fire a big right hand that sets up a blast double, which if you watch my channel at all, you know blast doubles are kind of one of my favorite takedowns. Inside, he's going from the guard, throwing some ground and pound, and drops back for a heel hook. Okay, you'll notice in this frame here, he drops back with less than optimal position on the heel, so he's got nothing tying the leg down, keeping it in place, which causes him to come back up into the guard. Okubo comes back up to throw the right hand. Kanoh shifts his hips and applies a triangle choke, and then Okubo goes to stomp, and Kanoh goes belly down to maintain the arm lock position and try to finish it. Here we see Agito turn too far and lose the position as Okubo takes side control, which Kanoh immediately reverses again. And here you see Okubo reverse himself while Kanoh is using a hip escape to regain his guard and try to control his posture. Okay, so Kanoh does a great job of breaking Okubo's frames by swimming his arms inside to take away his ability to posture. And from here, it looks like Kanoh had something like a guillotine that he opened his guard for, and Okubo escapes it and gets behind him. Notice how Kanoh's got the right overhook, though, on Okubo's right arm, trying to maintain a Kimura grip. But Okubo drops to his right side, attempting to take the back, while Kanoh turns inward to get to his guard. Okubo doesn't want to stay on guard, so he hip heists out and comes back to his knees, while Agito Kanoh sits guard in this position, looking to play like a butterfly, but pulls back into a full closed guard. Here, Okubo's throwing more ground and pound, trying to break through Kanoh's guard, but it's not getting through at all. And he's punching and punching and punching and punching, trying to break through this guard. Kanoh's had enough, so he uses a hard hip bridge, also called an upa, to try and create some space. I guess Kanoh's hips are so strong he could knock a heavyweight off of him, but normally you would use the bridge to try and create space to be able to hip escape and get your guard back. Okubo fakes the shot, level changes, and comes in with a huge overhand right to kind of stymie Agito, and then grabs him around the waist for a mat return or kind of like a belly-to-belly suplex, and then jumps into the full mount, going to his ground and pound again. Kanoh does some beautiful fundamental jiujitsu right here, where he takes 2-on-1 arm control and hip bridges while keeping Okubo's posture broken to escape the mount. Here you see Kanoh go for his own level change and Okubo countering with his own knee. You're really susceptible to knees when you change levels to go for your shots, so that's one thing to kind of be wary of. Alright, and then Okubo comes in with a huge left hook that sends Kanoh back reeling, and then follows it up with a headlock into a hip throw like a no-goshi, and then finishes it up with a rear naked choke, but Kanoh escapes. Okubo level changes under his right cross for a duck under to throw him, and soccer kicks him away, which is not legal in the US, but is in 1FC and Ryzen, I believe. Alright, and then here Kanoh goes for single wrist control, which you can use to set up things like arm drags or strikes. Throws a left that gets blocked and then throws another left. As Okubo level changes to try and get in for a takedown, Kanoh shuts that down with a right cross to the face, and then as Okubo's stunned, grabs him around the waist for another big throw over the hips, takes full mount, and then doesn't need to throw any more follow-up punches because he realizes Okubo's down for the count. Alright guys, that was the fight, and here's my final thoughts on that. Overall, I think it was fantastic and really well done. I give it a 10 out of 10. In there you got to see a lot of fantastic transitions between striking, wrestling, and jiu-jitsu. Some of the things that I will note that I would do differently, or that I think you should focus on in the context of a fight or a jiu-jitsu match. One being when Okubo drops back for that heel hook, there's no control on Kanoh's left leg, so it's really easy for Kanoh to free that leg, pull it, and clear the knee line, which prevents any control by Okubo to keep that leg or to attack any submissions. Once you clear the knee line on a leg lock attempt, it doesn't matter if it's a knee bar, toe hold, heel hook, or straight ankle lock, you've lost all power in your submission, so it's better to transition to another movement. Once Okubo loses that attack, he comes back up into Kanoh's close guard, and immediately Kanoh transitions to a triangle choke, which is awesome, but then Okubo stands up and is able to try and stomp his way out of it. Now, if you look back at Rampage Jackson versus Ricardo Arona, Rampage is able to pick up Arona and power bomb him while in a triangle. One of the ways we mitigate this is by underhooking the closest leg to you, which in Kanoh's case would have been Okubo's left leg. If he would have reached across with his right arm and underhooked Okubo's left leg, one, he would make the squeeze on the triangle tighter because he's actually cutting the angle and is able to utilize his legs more to cut off circulation to the brain. And two, he'd actually prevent Okubo from being able to stand up and stomp on him because all of that weight is anchored down his left leg. So that's one of the ways to finish that triangle in that instance, is instead of staying directly in front of them, you want to underhook the leg and cut the angle. Once Okubo does that, however, Kanoh immediately transitions to a belly down armbar, which was awesome. The only problem is once you get to that belly down position, instead of rolling all the way through it to come back up, you want to stay belly down, because then it's a lot easier to apply all your force on the arm joint going down to the ground versus trying to like hit it coming back up, because then all your weight is literally bearing down on the elbow. But as you see, Okubo kind of takes Kanoh's momentum and rolls him through, and Kanoh just kind of goes with it, and then you see that scramble. Now, in grappling or fighting in general, a scramble is when there's a constant change of positions and it's kind of this free-flowing, there's no set pattern to it. But one of the things that you do see is you see Kanoh reverse Okubo and transition to Keisugatame. And Keisugatame is a side control pin position where the arm is wrapped around the head and you're laying on the person's chest. Now, this is a fantastic position to pin people, but in the context of like jiu-jitsu or MMA, it's really easy to reach around, grab their back, and roll them over you, which is what you saw Okubo do to Kanoh. How you stop that is by, instead of wrapping around the head, you take that arm and reach under the left arm and go around the shoulder or the back. So instead of having your weight being directly over their chest towards their head, it's over their chest underneath their arm. This way, when they try to bump you over to that side, your elbow actually prevents you from being rolled over and you're able to balance your body on top of them. Another thing that I noticed was that in that transition where Okubo starts attacking the back, you see Kanoh turtled up and Okubo's circling around. He's got the right arm underneath Kanoh's right arm, which is great. Kanoh's trying to pinch it to keep like a Kimura grip, but then Okubo drops back to his side and using his left arm grabs the shoulder. what he's trying to do in this position is he's trying to pull Kanoh so that he can reach his left arm all the way over and connect hands with his right arm into what's called the seatbelt. Once you've got the seatbelt on somebody's back, it's that much more difficult to lose that position, especially once you get the hooks in. But Kanoh did a great job of turning back into the guard and kind of preventing Okubo from finishing the seatbelt. So those are kind of some things that like I noticed that I wouldn't do, or I would try to make sure it didn't happen in the context of a fight or a jiu-jitsu match. But yeah, all in all, it was great. You know, you see a lot of knees and low punches when people level change to go for takedowns, which is a fantastic way to stop that or kind of deter your opponent from trying to go for that. Yeah, I love the fact that you actually see a lot of guard work in this. Typically in MMA, you know, there's this need to like have everybody stand back up. Like stand back up, use your grappling to get back to your feet. And I don't like that. I feel like if you know jiu-jitsu, you should be confident enough in your guard to be able to utilize your jiu-jitsu and finish a fight. And you get to see that a lot from Kanoh, which I thought was great. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you made it all the way to the end, hit me with a hashtag MMA in the comments, or let me know what breakdown you would like to see next. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And I look forward to seeing you guys next week. Peace.